Thanks for joining Uptiq's live demonstration session here from prompt to bank grade AI agent in one session. I'm Hampton Vaughn, Senior Vice President of U.S. Banking here at Uptiq. I'm also joined by Lauren Brown, our Senior Solutions Engineer. Today we're going to be watching a working agent go from a single prompt to deployment. And these agents run live on our the Uptiq Core solution, which is the only bank grade AI platform built for financial institutions. And we define that as it means it's governed, it's deterministic. Ask the same question twice and you get the same answer, which general AI tools typically cannot promise. And so Core knows your regulations, it knows your products, your pricing book, your rate sheets, how your validation actually works. So we provide things like audit trails, user activity costs, regression management, things like that. That's naturally built into our platform. And so naturally, the deployment playbook is as well. And so you'll see bits and pieces of that today. I'll set the context here for just a few minutes, and then we'll hand over the rest of the time over to Lauren, and we'll be live inside the product. As we're going through this, by all means, drop your questions in the Q&A chat box as we go along. I'll take the quick ones live if necessary. Otherwise, we'll just hold them till the end. So almost every bank and lender on this call is probably running some form or fashion of an AI pilot right now internally at the bank. So typically the real question isn't whether or not you guys are experimenting with AI, it's why so few of those pilots really never make it to production. So we typically see, three patterns over and over and over and over again from our experience. And first, institutions tend to get stuck between the pilot and the production phase. The AI committee, they form some kind of, they form a committee and then they create some kind of budget. It gets approved, maybe or maybe it doesn't. But there's typically no governed path to actually deploy and scale that solution at the institution. Secondly, we see point solutions all over the place, right? One tool for KYC, another for spreading, another for chat. Every single one of them is different. It might be something you built internally, or it might be a different vendor. It might be 10, 12, 15, 30 different vendors, right? But the problem is always kind of grounded in one thing, that none of them are connected, none of them communicate, and oftentimes none of them really truly understand your business model and how your bank operates. Third, but certainly not least, this is the one that kind of stops deals cold, with an examiner. No provenance, no audit trail. You've got your guardrails, things that you hope to hold on to, but nothing actually checks the action. So a co-pilot, cannot show, for example, to an examiner why that rate was quoted or how a decision was made. And so these are three, very common failure points that we see. And so the solution that Uptiq has brought to the market and has, gained significant traction and momentum with in the banking space is what we call Core. And so it is a one-stop shop to build and deploy AI in your bank. And this is really truly the only AI platform out there that's built specifically from the ground up and led by the founders that run the company for banking and financial services. And so, five things make this all possible. Knowledge that Core grounds inside it within your institution, your products, your policies, your processes, your procedures. It's not answering from the open internet. It's answering from what's actually true at your institution. We also have Document AI, which classifies and extracts over 150 plus financial document types before a person ever even has to touch the value, right? We also have financial skills, which are reusable domain expertise, spreading, ratios, KYC, things like that. Those things are composed and ingrained into every single agent so that you're not rebuilding that logic from scratch every time. We also have integrations built into Core that work inside the systems that you already run. So things like your Core, your LOS, your CRM. We've got over 100 plus different connectors out of the box and growing every day. Finally, we have governance. That checks every action against your rules before it runs and logs why it happened, who did it, when, and why, and how, right? Next up, uh, back to my point earlier about bank grade, by design, this breaks down into about four different commitments. Um, the connectivity of it, core works inside your existing systems in real time, not alongside them. It is institution aware. Everything that we do is grounded in your products, your policies, your pricing, not generic training data. It's governed. Every action is checked against your rules before it runs, and it's explainable. So every decision carries a rule, its source, its sign off, and that makes it easier for you to trace it back. And the numbers are behind that. We've got over 150 plus institutions we've served, over 50 pre-built agents, 150 plus integrations, and 150 plus supported document types in SOC 2 for bank grade security. What you'll see today is Lauren kind of taking you step by step, where the first step to building a custom agent in our platform is really choosing the work. Start where the volume and the value are highest. That's a conversation we have with all of our clients on day one. Most institutions start with intake or origination is kind of where a lot of the most immediate pain lies. Step two, we ground it in your institution. The agent is, hyper tuned and hyper focused on being configured to your products, your policies, and your systems. You're not building from scratch. You're confirming what's already true, like I said earlier. Step three, deploy and expand. So the agent goes live inside your existing processes, and your team will have control over that experience, right? And that's really important. So each new agent, that it can be deployed on that same foundation, and every agent after that gets faster and faster and more hyper tuned to your processes, right? So all of that rides on, over 150 pre-built connectors, like I said earlier, and that spans across the full spectrum of cores, digital banking, LOS, bank aggregate sources, CRMs, credit bureaus, and accounting. So this is just some broad examples. Some of these are very very nuanced and narrow in scope, but this is just a sample of kind of what our customers have actually built in our core platform. And so these are just 30 some odd samples, examples of what we've got live in the system and built hands-on with our clients. And so you can see everything here from, tax lien ID, construction draw monitoring. We have credit unions that leverage our solutions that are, hyper focused on member retention, and then fraud capture, treasury onboarding, regulatory reporting, skip a pay. The point of this slide isn't, one project or a use case or another. It's really the range and scope, right? Like, these span across things like lending, deposits, compliance, treasury, member experience, and all of these are built by different institutions that are trying to solve different problems, all on the exact same platform. So, without further ado, hopefully this was kind of a helpful, overview of kind of what we have and what you're about to see. But the good news for you is the rest of the session you get to hear from Lauren. So Lauren's going to take you guys inside, three real customer builds here. I believe we've got some ranging of like a onboarding agent, maybe a compliance agent, like a training agent, perhaps, I think. So these are in the product. These aren't staged, screenshots or anything like that. This wasn't pre-recorded. So what you're seeing here is live, and just watch for a few things like we just covered, right? Like how the agent is grounded in real institutional knowledge, and how the governance, not the government, the governance shows up as it runs, and how every step leaves an audit trail behind it. We know that traceability and compliance component is extremely important to our industry. So, but yeah, Lauren, I'll stop there and I'll toss the controls over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Hampton. Well, let's see the core platform come to life. All right. So as we start our journey here, I'm really just going to bring to fruition what Hampton just gracefully walked us through, right? So we'll start here with the core platform and where you guys would initially start the process. Now, if you've ever seen an Uptiq demo, our agents, our pre-built agents and apps are built in this same system. So you're using the same exact space to come and configure and do everything that we are every day as well. So this is what you're greeted with. You'll see that it's very user friendly, easy to walk through, easy to go ahead and initiate and start building these agents and apps and really bring them to life and help start saving time across your institution. So you'll see here at the top on the dashboard, I can start to create an app. I can use, real layman's terms to, really just initiate what I want to do, what I want to solve for. And these agents will start to help you walk through that process and build this app or agent out for you. We've got several different options here, whether it be I want to understand, the design and branding of the app or agent that I'm working with. I want to understand, which LLM I want to use. I can easily point and click and start to initiate the app or agent build. Now, to Hampton's point earlier, we have several integrations that are available, whether it be, banking, CRM, productivity, and even compliance, where we have those pre-built anchors or connectors, if you will. So all of those are there for you to easily come in, annotate, and add to help push that app or agent a little bit more to get it across the finish line for you. So now that we've got a gist of how Core works and how easy and user friendly it is, we want to actually showcase what you guys are building, what our specific customers and potential clients have really started to use this platform to their advantage. So we'll start with an onboarding agent that was built. Now here we can see the left hand side is just how we initiated the conversation, right? Hey, this is exactly what we're looking for. This is what we want to cross off. We know that, onboarding folks is one of those headaches that we see across the board within institutions daily. So here you can see we've got color schemes, logos, branding. But here's where we can see kind of that PRD, kind of what the requirements are, what they wanted, what the individual, so very clear and concise of how they wanted the actual app to run. And so you can clearly see that vision on the side. Now, as the agent started to work and build out, you'll see that there's several different actions that were taken if there's any additional questions. So it's, again, very user friendly, talking back and forth and really building and understanding exactly what needs to be done to put this agent to work. So again, this is just going to cover that kind of onboarding, membership application. And on the right-hand side, we're actually seeing a preview. So after the conversation ended, we are actually able to see the preview of that actual agent and then actually walk through that agent as well. So really hands-on experience, understanding kind of what we're bringing to the forefront and how it's going to be best used. Now, here we can see from the preview side, if I want to see the code, I can easily come in and be able to bring that to the forefront as well. We can easily see the agents that are working behind the scenes, and then any of the analytics, data flow, or any of the testing or security that needs to happen as well. So all of that same governance that Hampton was mentioning, all of that is built in each of the agents that you'll see today. Now, let's hop over to everyone's favorite topic, compliance. Now, this is one that we get across the board as well. And we all want to, check all the boxes from a compliance standpoint. So here we're seeing a client risk assessment agent that was built. You'll see in this case, we had an attached PRD. So what those requirements are. And so being able to, go ahead and guide the agent on, hey, these are those requirements. You can see they went ahead and uploaded that. So just a little bit more of a starting point, if you will. But again, the user friendliness is going to walk you through, help you build this out stage by stage. So here we can see within 10 seconds after we had that PRD, here's where it's going to go ahead and annotate exactly what is needed. So here we can see case queues, high risk cases, pending reviews. We can also see intake information if we want to add or upload that identity document and start a new initiation for that compliance officer. And then, of course, having that audit log or audit trail for them as well. Now, just to give you an idea on how kind of user friendly it is to go in that preview stage and really work within that app or agent, I can actually start to see, okay, this is how it's going to look. This is the information that I want it to display, even down to the color schemes, right? This is how I want it to look. This is how I want it to come to fruition for each one of these users across my institution today. Now, last but certainly not least, probably one of our favorite potential customer builds here at Uptiq is going to be you can use Core to build essentially any type of framework, so we can make it fun. So here we'll end with the training perspective. We had a user build a game type Mario, if you will, experience for training their tellers. So making it, fun, user friendly, but again, giving it guidance here on the left hand side is how they initially got to the preview here, literally plugging in all of their specific use cases and how they want the agent to work. So here, you can see how they've created the different levels. They've created rankings. So if they want to make it more of a game amongst their coworkers, they can easily see and view that. And then understanding kind of how this is essentially brought to the forefront. So you can make this as fun as you want to. It's not just, compliance across the board. You can use Core to essentially help and bring that user friendliness to life across your institution. So happy to answer any questions that you guys have, but wanted to kind of leave you with each one of the instances that you saw today was actually built on. We are actually going around and having innovation workshops across the US today. And each of these experiences that you saw today were part of those innovation workshops. So if you would like to join us, please feel free to do so. We have Chicago coming up next, and then we have Irvine, California to quick follow. So please feel free to come. You can, use Core to your best of your imagination. So, Hampton, I'll turn it back over to you for any questions that we have.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Um, all right, folks. Well, we're keeping an eye out for questions, and feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll knock them down as we go.
All right. I don't think we have any questions. So,
Yeah,
one thing we
good.
did want to mention is Hampton and I, if you'll take a look in the chat, you'll be able to see a request from our team just to understand how this webinar work, et cetera. So please feel free to utilize that as we conclude.
Thank you all. Hope to see you in Chicago or California. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.